Bitcoin is the first global, that's really important, as Michael said, private. Now it's open source, but there's no government involvement.
If every single investor was as bullish on Bitcoin as Michael Saylor and Cathie would, we'd look to the future with bright optimism and high price expectations for the leading cryptocurrency in the world. Hello and welcome to Wealthy Value. In today's video, Bitcoin whale and CEO of MicroStrategy Michael Saylor and ARK Invest CEOs and CIO Cathie Wood's update about volatility, regulation, and Biden's green light for Bitcoin. They also discuss how technology will aggressively drive Bitcoin's adoption and why the current economic indicators are good for Bitcoin. Make sure to stick around till the end of this video to see why Michael Saylor and Cathie Wood are highly bullish on the upcoming Bitcoin bull run. Now, without wasting any time, let's dive right into the video.
People are asking me whether or not I'm still bullish on Bitcoin. And I would like to, just clarify that I am more bullish than ever on Bitcoin. We're here to talk about what we see in the future. And you've spent a career in institutional investment and capital markets, looking at it from the point of view of an investor. And I spent my career attempting to attract money from people like you, running a company in the public market. And so I think we're both half of the coin. In my mind, I got three main areas: the political, macroeconomic, regulatory environment, the capital markets and what's going on with large pools of money, the people running the trillions and trillions of dollars, I guess hundreds of trillions of dollars. And then the third is technology. And of course, you love technology, the capital markets. We both have political opinions.
Yes. Well, I think the most interesting thing that's happened, and we met someone from Mississippi, I think a congressman from Mississippi, and I'm seeing the politics around Bitcoin changing radically because it has become, the single issue that some people are voting on, and this is bipartisan. And even where we've moved in St. Pete, because people know that I'm very Bitcoin focused, the politicians have come to me and said, I want to pull together a room of Bitcoin enthusiasts, and I really want to learn from them what they want from us. Think about that. That is a radical shift over the last few years. The other thing that I see, so a year ago, roughly, when Janet Yellen was appointed Treasury Secretary, I remember her first comments about Bitcoin were money laundering, nefarious characters, environmentally damaging. And then 2 weeks ago, someone's whispering in her ear, and we talked about this, you think it might be Gary Gensler. There is someone whispering in the ears of politicians, if you want the US to lose out on this, one of the most amazing innovation platforms of all times, you keep talking like that. So she has changed her tune. So I'm very positive here. And of course, we're meeting people from around the world, just met from Honduras, Mexico. I think the movement is spreading pretty quickly now.
A lot of people have anxiety about regulation. And they ask me, aren't you afraid? And I do not have anxiety about regulation. When I look at this, I say, yeah, there's a lot of stuff to be worked through. FASB's working through some accounting issues. FDIC's working through some banking issues. SEC's working through some security issues. The administration's working through all their issues. But regardless of how fast that happens and how sharp that occurs, I don't think there's any outcome other than favorable for Bitcoin. And I think that what I say over and over again is Bitcoin is the ethical safe haven for any public figure, and it is the technical safe haven for any technical company, and it is the financial safe haven for any investors. So if you have anxiety, I think that people that are thinking about this are going to realize that Bitcoin is the risk-off crypto asset network. and all of this regulation is going to create volatility, but ultimately, the single number one most important issue is you walk into a room with people that have collectively 10 or 20 trillion dollars, and you tell the story, and they say, well, you know, Bitcoin sounds better than gold, and Bitcoin sounds better than owning a big tech stock, and Bitcoin sounds like the solution to all the world's problems, and it's just so good that someone is going to take it away from me because it's too good. And what you need is this one-page memo from the White House saying, no, we're not taking it away from you. Well, and then at that point, people can start to put billions of dollars into this asset. Everything that we're seeing in the last 12 months, inflation, war in Ukraine, Russian sanctions, the Canadian trucker crisis, all of these things have been bullish for Bitcoin, and anybody that thinks about it would realize that although they're unfortunate and unpleasant for the world, they have underscored to every mainstream objective observer the use case for a global non-sovereign store of value crypto asset like Bitcoin in a way that none of Michael Saylor's talking ever would.
Yes. Michael and I had a very spirited discussion yesterday afternoon about inflation as an issue, or is it ultimately going to go away? And we don't agree on everything, but one thing that I know and that we agree on is that if inflation is an issue, clearly Bitcoin is a great hedge against inflation. When we look at the deflationary impact of the various technologies around which we have centered our research, we think longer-term deflation and creative destruction associated with disruptive innovation, that's the bigger risk. And when you think about Bitcoin in those terms, you're thinking about a hedge against counterparty risk. So if we're going to have this debt deflationary bust that some still worry about out there, you've got Bitcoin as a hedge against that. So, you know, it's, as an investor, whenever I hear win-win, I usually don't believe it. But as it is very interesting to watch the equity markets, or the investors in equity markets, treating Bitcoin and other crypto assets like they are treating the rest of tech, which is not very well of late. I think, is it 70% of the Bitcoin outstanding, so roughly 13.5 million units of the 19 are in long-term holding hands.
So I mean, that's a good segue to technology, because I think you're very enthusiastic about technology. I'm very enthusiastic about technology. And I think that technology is going to drive adoption of Bitcoin more aggressively in the coming 36 months, even than it has in the last 36 months. If you're a technical entrepreneur, if you're a venture capitalist, and if you're trying to figure out what's the next great thing, I think it has to involve Lightning in somehow. If I look at the industry, I think every crypto exchange, if they're going to remain viable and competitive, they need to build Lightning into their exchange. And so I hope the people that run exchanges that don't have Lightning are listening to my presentation.
We're trying to impress upon investors how important this movement is. What I usually say is, okay, listen to this, and listen to every word, because every word is important. Bitcoin is the first global, that's really important, as Michael said. Private, now it's open source, but there's no government involvement. So private, so first global, private, digital, rules-based monetary system in the history of the world. It is a very big idea. Yeah.
Any form of money moving at any frequency, instantly, anywhere in the world, over Bitcoin, right, is such a beautiful vision. My point here is, every one of you knows someone. Go tell a CEO, go tell your father, go tell your mother, go tell somebody that Bitcoin's going to change the world and they should figure out more about it. because the number one thing you can do is educate the world on Bitcoin and let people know they need to figure out Bitcoin. And every one of you does make a difference, because I would never get those meetings if it wasn't like someone that went and said, you got to pay attention. And my last point to you, you do not sell your Bitcoin. Thank you. Thank you.
And that was Michael Saylor and Cathie Wood, who took to the main stage on the first general admission day for Bitcoin 2022 in Miami. The CEO of MicroStrategy and ARK Invest respectively, Saylor and Wood have long been seen as leaders in the traditional finance world's embrace of Bitcoin. It was no wonder then that many at the conference excitedly awaited this talk. Saylor has long been seen as the archetype of traditional finance embracing Bitcoin hold on for dear life, hodl. Wood also has a track record of creating research material designed to specifically convey the value proposition of Bitcoin to traditional financial investors. It's incredibly important to have people representing Bitcoin at these levels, especially as attention increases. Their broad appeal is a result of their capacity for impact on Bitcoin adoption. So do you agree with Michael Saylor and Cathie Wood that momentum is clearly behind Bitcoin or not? Tell us your opinion in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon with the next video. Thank you so much for watching.